Hola. That unfortunately is about the extent of my Spanish. As Raj said, I will be reading from the Spanish poet and playwright Lope de Vega this evening. But I begin with the livid. On Kanye West's new album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, there's a song called Monster, where a number of famous rappers take a verse to explain why they're the quote, mother monster, while you fill in the blank. Consider this dead poet reading my verse on the greatest poet and playwright of the Spanish Golden Age, the monster of nature, as the people called him, Lope de Vega. There are few writers as prolific as Lope de Vega. If we took everyone in this room and combined all of the creative writing we've ever done, we wouldn't match half the amount of work that Lope de Vega produced. The numbers: 3 novels, okay, 4 novellas, 9 epic poems, 3,000 sonnets, and 1,500, this is the kicker, plays. The majority of his work written in verse, I should remind you. Makes Tolstoy and Balzac look kind of lazy. But Lope de Vega did not even devote half of his life to his writing. As we know, he was particularly fond of beautiful Spanish women. I don't have the stat for the number of illegitimate children de Vega fathered, but we can ballpark it as somewhere between the number of epic poems he wrote and the number of plays. In terms of his art, Lope de Vega was an innovator. He's often credited as the founder of Spanish theater, which before de Vega was mostly comprised of imitations of the Italian commedia dell'arte. De Vega would become a master of the Spanish commedia, which translates, it's just the generic Spanish term for play. The Spanish commedia is a hybrid form that combines both tragic and comedic elements and rejects the 3 unities of neoclassicism. In one of de Vega's epic poems, The New Art of Writing Plays, published in 1609, de Vega defends the genre that he is writing in against Aristotle and neoclassicism, the rigidity of the neoclassical rules, as scholar Victor Dixon states. Furthermore, Lope de Vega was able to earn a living off of his writing. I quote, a professional writer from the middle class, at a time when his fellow playwrights were noblemen and scholars for whom such artistry was primarily an avocation. There was such a high demand in Spanish theater for plays. Runs lasted 2 or 3 days, tops. It's like television today, or the Tree Reading series, where every 2 weeks we come and produce new work. It was constantly demanded, and the people adored de Vega. He was loved and adored by the public, the court not so much. Really a people's playwright and poet. Portraits of de Vega hung in the walls of Spanish households, just like posters of rock stars and actors adorn college dorm rooms today. I will now read from all of Lope de Vega's 3,000 sonnets. I hope you have time for that. I'm actually choosing one of de Vega's most widely known plays today, Fuente o Laguna. Some of you may or may not have read that, which translates roughly to Fountain of Sheep or Sheep's Well. The play has multiple layers, but at its core, it's the story of a community's uprising against a corrupt commander. We find ourselves in Act 3, Scene 1, a town hall meeting interrupted by Valencia, a peasant, a recent victim of the commander. By the end of Act 2, was kidnapped by the commander during a wedding ceremony. Just a brief side note, the Spanish theater permitted women to act on stage, as opposed to the English theater of Shakespeare's time, so I will do my best. We're about halfway through here. You let the wolf carry the sheep like the cowardly shepherd you are. Can you conceive what I suffered at his hands, the daggers pointed at my breast,
the flatteries, threats, insults, and lies to make my chastity yield to his fierce desires? Does not my bruised and bleeding face, my disheveled hair tell you anything? Are you not good men, not fathers and relatives? Do not your hearts sink to see me so grievously betrayed? Oh, you are sheep! How well named the village of Fuente Ovacuna! Give me weapons and let me fight, since you are but things of stone, or metal, since you are but tigers. No, not tigers, for tigers fiercely attack those who steal their offspring, killing the hunters before they can escape. You were born rabbits.
You are infidels, not Spaniards. The uprising has begun. Here, even in translation, one should realize that Vega's legacy is not defined by the quantity of his work or his promiscuous reputation that often succeeds him, and is really fun to talk about. But his quality of writing and its unmatched popularity throughout his life and hundreds of years after, and really continuing to this day. Unfortunately, it's mostly in Spain where he's most well known. Here in this passage, a simple agricultural metaphor, reference of loss, a simple agricultural reference of loss builds to a call for action. Gender roles are examined, and a community's moral will is about to be defined. And that's only this much text. Lope de Vega, Spain's Shakespeare, a mother bleeping monster. I'll leave it at that and turn it over to you, Rod. Big shoulders, this guy.